Hey, welcome to Weld.com, home of TIG time. I'm Mr. TIG. And you know, recently we were at the FabTech show in Las Vegas 2012, and I walked into the booth of CK Worldwide, and they had a purge chamber. And I thought maybe what I should do is get them to send me a purge chamber so I can play with it on the set. So that's what I've got here. So I've just unpacked it. And this purge chamber it's really designed for several different functions. One is if you want to weld titanium and get good color or any reactive alloy, or even if you happen to have a part that you can't purge properly, you can put it inside this. It's like a bag effect, and we're going to show you the whole setup of it. So I've got the instruction manual. I went through the list here, make sure I've got all the parts, and I've got this little vacuum system here. This is the bag itself. It's a flexible purge chamber. It's got some arm portholes, and there's two of them already in there, already pre-cut, ready to go. And you get this bag with it. And so if you want to add another set of arm portholes, you can. It's right here. Now you can see that this is a flexible material. So I suspect that as you're welding at 3,000 degrees on titanium, you may accidentally touch the sidewall of this and burn it. Well, there's a patch kit in here. So anyway, I think we've got everything here. The biggest difference, I like to run the dual flow meter regulator so I can finely tune my TIG torch, and I've got my TIG torch fed in here and it's taped off. I'm going to run that at about 15 CFH. Now, because you're running argon inside, you still need to run argon through your torch. Now the reason for that is so you can get some arc continuity, otherwise the arc will bounce all over the place. So we're going to pull this thing down. We're going to use this vacuum system here. We're going to pull this thing down, suck it down, and we're going to cycle it a couple of times. Now the key here is we want to get the argon purity in there. We want to get this thing down below 100 parts per million. And if we're doing X-ray quality or high stress parts, we probably want to get this thing down below 50 parts per million. And you can see what that is by the chart that we're attaching here. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this vacuum on, and typically I pull down for about 10 minutes, suck this thing down, suck all the air out of it, and I've got a valve over here that I'm going to turn on, and it's going to purge this thing up and backfill it with argon. So let's get it started. This is what it sounds like. Okay, now the fact that this is a brand new unit, we've cycled it a couple of times. When I say cycle it, we pull a vacuum on it, then we backfill with argon. Then we open it up, put all of our parts in, the filler material, the torch, and you're going to see that I put the clear Pyrex lens on there. I did that only so you could see much more clear. So we're going to go ahead and cycle it for the third time, and it's probably going to take us somewhere around 20 minutes. Then we'll do a little test run and make sure that the parts per million is low enough. Now that's parts per million of oxygen. We want to make sure there's no nitrogen in there or anything else. So we'll go ahead and we'll do it one more time. Okay, we've been purging about 20 minutes, and I have a setting up here that allows the argon to go out of the top. It exhausts all the oxygen, nitrogen, any other contaminants that are in there. So there's 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. When I'm free purging, just trying to get the whole thing purged out, I have it on the number 3 setting, meaning that there's more displacement happening. I'm getting ready to weld now, so I have set this at 1. So there's 1 port that's open. Now, one of the hardest parts of working in a chamber is getting your arms in there. And I like to put the tips of my fingers in the glove. They're a neoprene glove, so you've got to be careful. They will burn. So I've got the tips in, and then I just push. Okay, that wasn't too bad. This hand's a little more difficult. But again, just get the tips of your fingers started, and this thing will work out pretty easy. Okay, so that's really about the hardest part of this this whole operation. And I go ahead and I go ahead and put my leather gloves on, and sometimes I'll just put the torch glove on. Okay, so I've got my TIG torch, and again I've got my Pyrex cup on here just so you can see. Normally I just use a standard gas lens, but it still is important to make sure you have a gas flow coming through here, just so you have good arc initiation. Okay, now the best way to test this is really, I've got a plate in the bottom of this. This plate's steel. It doesn't come with the unit, so you have to have your own, call it subsurface plate. It's on a thermal blanket, but I'm going to initiate the arc, and I should get gas coverage on the top, but the real telltale sign is turning the plate over and seeing if the chamber itself is fully purged out. So let's give it a shot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a little arc strike right here, just to see if I've got good gas coverage. Okay, so all I'm doing is penetrating, running a little spot tack here, and seeing what the color is. Alright, so what I've got here is I got a little glow, and I'm looking for where it got liquid, and it still needs a little bit more purge out time, but overall it's not bad. Let's look at the back side. Okay, so the same thing. What I've got is I've got nice silver right where the spot is. I got this little glow, and so we're going to let it purge out just a little bit longer. Okay, we've purged out about 10 minutes more just to see how it's going to clean up. And you can see it's improved dramatically. There's the 10 minutes ago and there's now. So, you know, it's pretty clean right now. I'm going to go ahead and run a bead. Okay, got a little arc initiation. Probably, I don't know, probably at about 50 amps. Just dabbing a little filler material. Pretty clear, pretty easy to see titanium. This is 6.4 titanium. Alright, so the gas is cleaning up very nicely. So you can take a look at the color, and you can see that there's little shadows, but they're so far away from the weld that they're just not consequential. Okay, you know, we finished welding. This is 6.4 titanium. I was adding filler material, and you can see that we had different progressions of cleanliness inside the chamber. Started off, we were just kind of marginal, still pretty good, but marginal, and you could see the dark haze around here, so that kind of tells you where you're at. And as time went on, another 10 to 15 minutes, you could see that it really cleaned up nicely. So this right here it's not as 100% perfect, but you're certainly almost there. And this little area around here is just not consequential whatsoever, but the cleanliness is there. We're well beyond the heat affected zone for the color, so the argon's pretty clean in here, so it's got my seal of approval on it. A little difficult to get inside these chambers, and I think that's probably the biggest task of all. Just you're kind of encumbered, so anyway, you just have to deal with it. But like I say, you can put different materials. You can put even exhaust headers if you can't get into an area with your normal TIG torch. You can get in here, run the tungsten way out, and get the job done. So any reactive alloys, anytime you need additional purging on anything, just put it inside the bubble here, turn the argon on, and let the argon displace the oxygen through the top of the chamber, and you're good to go. Now, CK makes these in different diameters, different sizes. I've seen these things, it's this table model, I think it's 30 inches in diameter. They make them the size of a room if you want them. So just know that they're out there, they're available, and if you want to get more information on it, you can go to Weld.com or take a look at the show notes. Thanks for watching TIG Time. I'm Mr. TIG.